That was no, that
No,
was
it was here.
that was here.
This is,
Alright.
two, okay. It's a lot of paper going around.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, same
Oh,
thing.
wait.
Yeah, there should be
Okay.
5 sheets of paper.
Now, the TV people are gonna love my next pause, okay?
I will turn this broadcast around.
It's just a pause, it's not on purpose, but now that we're done talking about intercourse, Pennsylvania, we can now move on to the rest of the meeting. And for the TV folks, that was done on purpose, because one of our esteemed members is heading to Amish country, which is a lot of fun. So, the agenda. We don't have much but Main Street Live, correct?
Yeah, just today, due to the time of year and with September approaching, I think it's kind of imperative to. That's
Absolutely. I
topic
mean, I
right
think
now.
typically we miss our August meeting anyway,
Yeah,
just to give people a break, but we felt it important to get together just for Main Street Live purposes.
Mhm.
We don't have any minutes to approve?
unfortunately, I'm sorry, the minutes came in a little bit later. I have them
Okay.
today, but if the board, if the commission wants to.
No worries, we can either read them now, or we can put it off until next meeting and read them at our leisure, and then
I don't care.
That sounds good.
approve them next time.
Yeah.
For next time.
Sounds good.
So there were a few forms I wanted to just bring forward. They're just a couple emails back and forth, coordinating with the food trucks. You'll notice from Ariel Carney over in Recreation, we do have 6 trucks that are kind of lined up. One, Captain Martin's, is still in the process of submitting forms. In addition to that, we did get a response from Grandy's Ice Cream about trying to be involved as well as a local vendor. I just wanted to kind of bring that forward to you, and if board commission agrees, I can reach out to her about starting the process, and so they can set up a location as well for the event. One of the other things mentioned in Ariel's email is having kind of like a FAQ, like some frequently asked questions for some of the vendors to be aware of. Just kind of, when to show up, what to, where to park, who to contact, information such as that. So I can put that together, and I could probably either work through you, Mark, or Donnell. And I don't know if Mark, if you want to be the main point of contact for food
Are
truck
people
vendors.
asking for that?
Ariel brought that up as just kind of a suggestion, just to have that main kind of facilitator for the event.
Yeah, either way, it doesn't matter to me. I can certainly be the contact for that. You're talking just for the food trucks, or, I think those are the only outside vendors, correct?
Yeah.
And it'll be obvious to them when they get there, but yeah, absolutely, I can, yeah. Yeah, I can be who have they been in contact with up until now? Ariel?
Ariel, yeah, up in the Recreation.
Does she mind being the contact for that, or
I think it's because the day of.
it's just a day of thing?
Yeah, so
Just we're doing stuff
Yeah.
to tell them where to park.
Yeah, that's not a problem. I will,
Yeah.
one of us will be there.
We'll,
Yeah.
aware.
we'll be down.
okay.
It'll be obvious, but one of us will be down there to handle them.
All right, I'll make sure to note that and
But
get them kind of a.
it'll fall on me if no one's there. I can be the contact if no one's there.
Okay, all right.
And did you want to get a hold of Grandy's Ice Cream?
Yeah, so they had emailed me. I'll get back a hold of
Alright,
them,
perfect.
and we can hopefully set up a spot for them as well.
Have you talked to her yet?
I haven't. I just received an email from her today.
Okay,
so
good. Yeah, we don't have any other ice
We ran
cream
out of
vendors.
We ran out of ice cream with them
Oh, really?
2 years ago, right? She ran out of ice cream.
I don't know if was it her that ran out?
I'm pretty
It
sure.
was one of the ice cream trucks ran out.
Yeah, she's a Wappo woman, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's a good sign. Good vendor. People are.
So, I mean, if we have the weather, if we have a beautiful night, we're gonna be
There's gonna be a lot of people.
extremely, because of COVID,
Yeah.
people can go out now, we're gonna be super, super busy.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely, get with her, but the only thing is if we're expecting really good weather, as Beth said,
Yep.
and we're getting good response as we usually do, there may be the need for more than one ice cream vendor,
Yeah.
and we've run into problems in the past with having the desire for more than one ice cream vendor.
Mhm.
So be prepared to handle whatever objections you get there.
About having more than one ice cream vendor. Yeah, so I guess it kind of leads into another topic. I don't know what we've done for different outreach for local businesses or local restaurants to also be, if there's interest in terms of setting up a tent or setting up a vendor station or anything like that.
We've
I
had
don't know what we've
success
done in the
with
past.
some restaurants that are now not in business anymore, unfortunately.
Okay, all right.
It would be awesome to be able to pick up the slack with some people, but other than the people that have done it in the past,
Yeah.
we've never had much success with people wanting to
Janelle
do
and I would
that.
go around and ask, and, and not just us, you know, the directors have gone out too,
Mhm.
but they're very happy where they're at.
Okay.
And they can pick up either flow from us
Yeah.
during the event, after, or before the event.
Okay.
It ends up being a lot of work for them to mobilize
Yeah.
and to execute it.
Yeah.
And plus now they have all outdoor seating, so you might as well,
Right.
you know, just go there.
And the profit that they receive from that is not,
From setting up a
Big enough.
separate booth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's easier to.
That makes sense.
just don't-
but having said that,
Yeah.
what was the name of that Chinese place that used to do it? Kihai used to do it, and they were great. They did $1 appetizers, so they would, you know, you'd get one,
One
yeah.
teriyaki, yeah.
right, one beef teriyaki, one whatever, right, egg roll.
That's a good idea.
And they had just and they would just crank
They
the food out. Whether they made any money, I don't know, but it was very popular with the patrons too.
What about, because I know I'm struggling trying to get volunteers. I feel like I can get some, but people just aren't committing so many weeks out. What about like a, hey, you're a part of our town, would anybody from your establishment want to volunteer with your logo on their shirt kind of thing, or something to, just so that, I mean, it sounds like it's going to be really busy. I'm just worried about.
Well, we have to be careful of a couple of things. It's a great idea, and we need sponsors. That's one of the things I was gonna bring up. I talked to Danell today to get an update from him. He's traveling, but, you know, he said his only issue right now is volunteers. So we have to try to find a way to get as many people involved as we can, because it is a lot of work. There's a lot of people there. And,
For setting up, taking down, for,
and working.
All the way
it,
through,
yeah.
right? And if it falls on the same people, it's going to be
Setting up and
exhausting.
taking down, honestly, it's a pain, but it requires less people than actually working the event. Those bars get really busy. And, yeah, you could have 4 people run a bar, but if they ran it for 6 hours, they are gonna be,
Toast.
My people aren't gonna have a problem in the bars. We need people IDing, handing out the, you know,
yeah,
check-in.
the people IDing are the
Yeah.
people selling the tickets.
Yeah.
And what can't happen is, and the reason we need more volunteers is when people get tired, they tend to get a little bit more lackadaisical. And when you're selling the tickets or redeeming the tickets for beer, that's when you need to be on the ball, because that's when you need to determine if someone's had too much to drink. You know, logistically, are they old enough? That's the easy one. But after that, have they had too much? And as much as we want to just keep slinging beer and wine, we do have to, you know, the ability to continue doing this event rides
Rides
on
on
our
that.
ability to
Right.
manage that.
And we
So,
do have officers that are walking around the commons also.
but understand that whether somebody that's 45 years old has had too much to drink or not is not the police officer's job to determine that. It rests on,
Let me ask you a
well, I'll
question.
be honest, it rests on me, because I'm the one putting up the tips license. And so, that being the case, you know, we just have to use common sense,
Yeah.
you know, and
Mark, stupid question here. I'm volunteering for the bar to serve drinks. What time do we show up?
Yeah.
starts at 5, but it doesn't, super busy
Like,
about
what time do you
7:30.
want us, like, just to,
Well, I need to.
We're gonna
know
rotate
either-
all that in,
Yeah.
and we'll have a schedule, but
Yeah,
Right.
so we're down on the common, like at noon time, so to set up, we need help stacking the, I need,
Cases.
icing down everything. Oh, speaking of which,
it's only beer and wine?
yes,
yes.
No mixed drinks? Okay.
the ice house. Did we
Danell
forget
has
about-
not ordered yet.
Okay, cause I usually do that, is he gonna take care of that?
He said to me today,
Okay.
I've not ordered the ice yet.
Okay.
However, if you two are confused as to which one is supposed to do that,
I'll text him.
Yeah.
I'll send him a message.
Are we doing
I
the
know he's on vacation.
beer garden?
that's still in the works, but possibly.
Okay.
We still need us to serve
Yeah.
other beer.
Other
but,
right.
yeah.
I'm just trying to think of
The
is-
beer
is that gonna
garden-
add bars. If we do
No, they will be, if they are able to do it, they will be self-sufficient.
okay.
No,
They will
who's
be-
that?
I have a couple of people I'm talking to now. Whether the problem that they are running into, just like sponsors are running into with us, they're worried about putting up X thousands of dollars
And then, yeah.
and then having it canceled because
State of things right now.
the
Yeah.
bands still get paid,
Yeah.
the stage sound lights still get paid, everybody still gets paid. You know, so
You, you can't put in the contract if a state mandate changes and we're forced to not have it through a state mandate, we don't have to pay?
we could do that, but they would never sign on with us. They'd sign on with someone that's guaranteeing money.
That's true.
And people will guarantee, that's just the way it works, they'll guarantee the money. Like, for instance, if it rains and we get 4 people, they're still gonna get paid, you know? But that's just the way it goes, and then, I'm okay with that, but sponsors are usually okay with that, except in this type of a year where everybody's so gun shy.
What kind of sponsors do we have, and what's the average? Like, is it like the local downtown businesses? Is it
Sometimes,
Is it
yeah,
like
it's been that
a
in the
couple
past.
$100, a couple $1,000s? Is it?
It's in the thousands, yeah.
Okay.
I handle the music and everything around the concert, and Danelle and Beth typically handle the other sponsors that take care of the tents and the chairs and the tables. My budget is typically around 12 grand, sometimes more.
Sure.
So, you know, the sponsors can be great, and they've been great in the past, but sometimes they hold and they hold and they hold. And that's what, I'm not worried about closing the sponsors as we get closer. And I talked to Danelle about a strategy to try to get them more involved. The thing that scares me is that, you know, I look at kind of the temperature of what's going on around the country. And a lot of bands, like national, big touring national bands, are starting to cancel or postpone their fall and winter dates around the country. And that says to me, you know, they don't care about, well, what I'm saying is, they don't care about us, a little, you know, total budget, $30,000 event. But they do care about promoters that are putting up millions of dollars.
Right.
And so I say to myself, do they know something that we don't know?
If they canceled, they don't get paid, do they? If they cancel.
Well, whatever they have in their contract is what they have in their contract.
right.
But a tour is more than getting paid because they're putting up all the money
Ahead of time.
ahead of time. So they might be getting a heads up saying, hey, I wouldn't invest this money because this might be coming down the road. However, our governor has started to show a little bit of pushback, and especially on the masks. And so, you know, we're 4 weeks out. I think we're good. I would invest in this event. But I'm not the one writing the $5,000 check. So that's where we are. I think we'll be able to close it. I know it would be a very strange thing to have this event canceled by the state, given where we are and given how close we are to the event. I don't think things are gonna change that quickly. So I think we're gonna be good. I know we're gonna be good for the event.
Okay.
But again, writing the check is a whole different story. And these people, everybody went through a hard time, and so they have to watch, you know, if I was trying to get Home Depot to pony up the money, they're flush, but, you know, you can't get, they invest in NASCAR, not Walpole Main Street Live, so, you know, it's a whole different deal, but yeah, I think we'll be fine. Anybody that, you know, any of you know anyone in your business lives or personal lives that runs a business that might be interested, let me know, and let Danelle know on the other side of things. But no pressure to go out and try to sell it, because I have active negotiations going on with people right now, so, you know, we should be okay. And we have enough core funding right now to handle things if it did get canceled. People would still be able to get paid
Okay.
without the sponsors. So, you know, we've been good with holding on to what we've earned in the past. It's one of the reasons why we've kept it separate from any other town entity, is that we could hold on to the funds and make sure that this event can happen, even if we get a rain out and we don't get that revenue, that we can still have the event. And that was the goal from day one, was to get enough in the bank that we could handle any unforeseen weather or whatever events and still not be bankrupt. So that's where we are. So we're good with that. Volunteers, though, volunteers are the key.
And what time you said, so show up what time?
Oh, so, well, we all start, actually, it's probably, we all probably get down there around 10 o'clock in the morning. So, it starts at 5, so I would say 4 o'clock.
Not for everyone, though.
Not for everyone. just
Because like I
each
said, we
bar.
will, as we get closer and we know who we're dealing with for volunteers,
Alright.
then we'll start to put out a schedule.
Yeah, I don't mind working the whole night at the bar, it doesn't bother me.
Usually
Yeah, I
that's
mean,
it.
that would be awesome, but there will be, you know, people will say, and being there the whole night and working the whole night are two different things.
No, I mean working, serving, not being there the whole night.
Yeah, I mean, but there's, you know, there are gonna be people there that'll work 2-hour shifts, you know, you're there from 5 to 7, and then you come back and work 9 to 10 or whatever, just to spell people. It can be rough, cause it's absolutely constant. Do those bars ever slow down? Ever? No, it is the worst nightclub scene you've ever seen at
I
a bar.
worked at nightclub in
That's
New
right.
Orleans.
Can't
It
wait.
is-
It's fun, it's a lot of fun.
It's nonstop, and, but it is a blast.
Would be good if you could try to alleviate some of that congestion there. You know, that like trying to get a drink, maybe if you could, because both, you get them like right next to each other, I think. What if you put one here and then one on the other side?
Interesting. Like back to back, so we can consolidate the storage.
I'm
And the
assuming there's a
ice.
fenced off area
The whole
because,
all the commons are fenced.
well,
off.
for the 21 though thing, the ID thing, is it fenced off, the bar area?
No,
It's all open.
everybody has wristbands that is able to drink.
Alright,
That's why it's important.
So we're doing
on-
wristbands.
On the
Yeah.
carding and the people who are
So
checking
the
people in.
the way it works is you come in and you immediately get in line for the tickets. So there's no cash at the bars.
yeah.
So, and when you buy the tickets is when you show your ID. And then, so if someone, and get a wristband.
Yeah,
So if someone has a wristband, and no one gets drinks without a wristband and a ticket,
yeah.
right? Except for me. No, I'm just kidding. Cameras. So, so that's the criteria for the bartenders, and the ticket takers are the ones responsible for distributing the tickets.
We also have soda and water.
Yeah,
Do we limit tickets?
No,
no,
Have you ever had a problem?
no,
Okay.
not yet. Knock on
Okay, well,
wood.
that's what,
no.
We've never had an arrest, we've never had anyone hurt.
Everybody loves this event
Yeah.
and loves it.
In fact, the police officers that work the event, across the board, they're like, this is great, this is amazing. You know, we have not had to talk to anyone except for kids coming up to us and saying, wow, that's a really cool four-wheeler, you know, because they always drive the four-wheelers down there. And it really proves to be almost a community thing for the police officers too, where they're just talking to people and, I mean, they're doing their job,
Yeah.
obviously, but, you know,
Out there.
before he left, John Carmichael did a great job in having his officers be approachable from people, and it shows at that event. And so it's worked out really well, so, you know, knock on wood, let's hope it stays that way, because you know how knuckleheads can get, but we do have, you know, we have the contingencies there in
Definitely.
case someone is a knucklehead. But let's try our best not to be the reason someone was able to be a knucklehead.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Don't be afraid if you're working one of the bars, and we'll probably have, like, this year, I wanna try to institute like a bar lead or a bar captain who will just, like, you'll be in charge of your bar.
I have 3 bars.
Well, someone needs to be the final word, because one excellent way to mitigate issues with someone is when you, let's say someone serving the beers has an issue with someone, that thinks that they're just fall down drunk. Well, one of the best ways to get around that
Just call someone
is,
else over.
hold on, I have to talk to the manager or the bar captain or the lead. Then they call you over, and you make the decision that takes the person serving the beers off the hook and immediately mitigates and scales down a situation, because now someone quote-unquote important has come over and made the decision. So we need to have that at every bar.
There's no need to quote, she's important.
Exactly. No air quotes needed, yeah.
Well, I typically walk around
Right.
and then hop behind the bar if need be, if someone wants to go have something to eat,
So we've never had a problem, but if someone did have a problem, even if you were walking around, they would find you
Yeah,
or find Danelle
good to know, yeah.
and maybe one other person, just so someone's readily available. And those 3 people will be the final word on somebody, and that's it.
Mr. Nell's floating around too.
Yeah, but having that level of backup, I think is important, because let's face it, anyone bartending at an event like this, you're all volunteers, right? You don't do it every night of the week.
Right.
You're not 25 years old and you're used to dealing with knuckleheads. Not that you can't, but you're just not used to it. And being able to take the pressure off of somebody like that actually will allow him or her to do the job the right way and actually call somebody out on that we think has had too much to drink. And I don't know, for this year, I just feel like we've been walking on sunshine for so long with this event.
You stop talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, you keep saying it, let's go,
Stop
let's
talking.
go.
We're knocking on wood over here.
I know.
Well, but I just want to make sure everyone understands that just because we have had good luck in the past and great patrons, that that we shouldn't let the guard down, is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know?
Do we get T-shirts?
We used to have T-shirts.
We used to have T-shirts when
You
Rich
know
was
what?
around.
They might be in Danelle's basement.
He's got them, because then he takes them all back that night.
That's right.
I've got one, so,
Okay.
maybe 2.
Well, maybe we should just have 2021 T-shirts made up. Big American flags on the back.
I like that.
Yeah,
Main Street Live.
right.
That's a good idea.
Talk to Danelle when he gets back from Virginia. He's driving his daughter to college. Yeah. All right, so
So I kind of want to go back to timeline and logistics.
Yeah.
When do we typically close or set up the stage?
noontime,
Around noon?
right at noon.
So would that be the same time we want to think about turning West Street into a one-way?
Typically, that's when they close down West Street and turn it, they kind of wait for it to be a one-way until the stage is, it takes a while for the stage, I mean, it
Okay.
gets there at 12, but it takes a while for it to go up. But once it goes up, that's when they turn West Street into a one-way.
Okay.
Especially for tractor trailers. Sometimes the police will allow cars up
Yeah.
until a little bit closer to showtime. But once it gets to be about 3:30,
That's when it turns.
that's when it is
So-
dead
So-
or closed.
Starts at noon, probably
Setup
closer to
starts
3:30.
starts at noon, but the tents will be there earlier than that.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying, we're usually down there around 10. But to also, so what happens at 3:30 is there should be, I think the police department will put a
Horse.
sign down, in front of, New Life, that, right there.
Yep.
And then everybody's gotta go left onto 27.
Okay.
So that's all blocked off too.
You can't come up
You
the
can't
hill
come up
behind the
hill,
stage.
You can't come up the hill, and you can't go down the hill.
Okay. So around 3:30. So is that the same thing for closing that section of Elm as well?
The section of Elm between the
Yeah.
Commons,
That's closed at,
that's
that's gonna be
closed at 10 a.m.
Close at
10
10.
a.m.
Oh, gotcha. All right.
But the down the hill is
Going down the
3:30.
hill,
Everybody will be adjusted to go left.
yeah.
Around 3:30.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, like I said, once 3:30 rolls around, no one goes up or down that hill. But they can drive behind the stage.
Okay.
The one lane going one way
Mhm.
is open on, what is that, West Street? Behind the stage.
Yeah.
Can they drive down Front Street?
that's the food trucks.
Then one lane is
Yeah.
open
Yes,
on
It is a
Front
one
Street.
lane.
They
You
can
just-
go
Yeah.
down Front Street, it's one way, but everybody's on the common, so they're really not anything on the other side.
You
of
can
the
do a
food trucks.
barrier to kind of protect the trucks, if anything,
I'm trying to
like
think.
a half
They've
barrier.
done, yeah,
Yeah.
they've covered every, and, the last time we did it, we had, Joe Grant let us use the barriers for his road races.
That's right, yep.
And I'm hoping to get that again this year, which worked out well, but yeah, so the map you have
Mhm.
should have arrows on it showing traffic
Yep.
patterns. So, that'll be the same this year.
Yeah, and so when I met with the select board, that was the same figure that we used to kind of show. So similar, I think it was 2018 was then when that map was made up, 2018,
18
19.
was the same,
Yeah,
and, trying to think if there was any differences in 18. Only maybe in porta potty,
Yeah.
locations, but other than that, I think everything was the same.
Yeah.
okay.
Does that answer the question?
Yeah, I just wanted to address those for the police department. They had brought those up.
I mean, if I had my way, but it doesn't work logistically very well, but I wouldn't have anyone driving behind the stage.
I agree with that, I think that should be
Yeah.
shut down.
Because there's musicians hanging back there, there's
People across the-
roadies back
yeah.
there,
Yeah.
there's equipment, and there's a stage. And if somebody just
Doesn't pay attention.
doesn't pay attention, they'll take out the whole backside of that stage and,
Yeah.
but I get it. You can't close down West Street. There's no easy
I
way
don't
to
know
get
why-
back to
what-
West Street.
I don't know why they can't, because they can go right up 1A and take a right on Norfolk Street. Or Spring Street.
Or Spring.
There's no reason why that cannot be shut down.
Well, let's talk to them. I mean, if we had barriers that could stop a
That's
car,
cool.
John,
John, yeah.
if we had barriers behind the stage that could stop a car, I'd feel a lot better about
but
it.
I agree with that,
But we don't, we just have
somebody-
sawhorses.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's.
so if we could close West Street
Mm-hmm.
between, so it would be Main and West, and then West in front, that's all we need.
And they are just movable barriers, so let's say fire had to get down West Street,
Yeah.
they could. They just move the sawhorse and boom, they're down there. And we're not gonna, just so, if you do bring it up to them,
Mm-hmm.
make sure they understand that we're not extending the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not gonna be a load of people on West Street. There'll be no more people on West than usual,
Okay.
which is just crew and band members.
Safety.
But just as a safety fit, but I just don't want them to think that, hey, if we have to get down west, cause we have a medical emergency at Union and West,
Mm-hmm.
there's gonna be 150 people on that street, we're not gonna be able to get through.
Yeah.
I can see his point. There's gonna be no one on that street other than what is usually there. We just don't want the back of the stage taken out by some,
So is that is it 27 or whatever that goes, so when Elm goes through West, I'm just trying to orient myself
So
right
where
there.
you just, so if you come out here to this light,
Yeah,
right, so the police fire station's on your right?
Yes.
Co-op's on your left?
mm-hmm.
So that's West that goes on an angle across the
Yeah,
street.
yeah, it was.
So that's what close West and Main there,
Okay,
and then could go through the stop sign, and then Front Street's that one way in front of the church. So we could have that.
as it is now, anyone coming from like Union and West,
mm-hmm.
the apartment building,
Yeah,
has to turn right onto Front Street. They cannot come
Yeah.
up west. So what we would like to do is from the Christmas tree at the, have
yes,
you been here for Christmas yet?
not yet,
So from the point of the green,
but
in
yeah,
front of the
where-
Tux shop,
Mhm.
to the Front Street,
Close that section.
close
Got
that, because the stage is right there.
it. Okay,
So that's all.
all right, yeah, I can address that with Officer
I
White.
mean, and sometimes people, I hate to say, are completely oblivious,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
and they go around the barriers at the bottom of the hill, and they come up and they're like, what is this? And they start weaving in and out of barriers, and
Yeah.
people are jumping out of the way, and,
Good.
There's no good way to turn around there either.
No.
you
no,
know.
once they're there, you just gotta kinda wave them through and just, you know,
Keep your fingers crossed.
hope they don't run someone over, but,
Okay.
but it is what it is, and we've dealt with that for, and it's only less than a handful of people that
I've done
make that mistake.
Yeah.
And you know what it is, to be honest with you?
Mm.
It's people who rely completely on their GPS, and they have no ability to deviate off what they're GPS is telling them. And their GPS is telling them, go straight up this hill. And even though it says detour, go this way, nope. They will go around that every time. So anyway, if they can do it, great.
Yeah.
If they feel like it's not workable,
Mhm.
well, then we're right back to where we were, and that still works.
Understand. Yeah.
Any other concerns or questions that you might have?
I mean, those were the pressing ones, obviously, and notifying Grandy's that they can set up a station.
Are they good with my tips license and everything?
Yes. Yeah. So
everything's good?
I am on the we're on the next select board meeting to do the 1-day liquor license, which
Okay.
should be.
You have everything you need in that?
Yeah, I know. I'll have to check with Donnell. I know. I believe it's still fine as long as that certificate of liability is going to be available eventually. It doesn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now, why does the town want that?
It's standard for doing a 1-day liquor license. So obviously, there's the tips license. There is I think it's like an employee insurance thing, which doesn't really apply to us.
Right.
And then there's the certificate of liability. So that, when I brought that up, obviously to Donnell, it sounds like that was something that had been done in the past.
Yeah, I just want to make
so-
sure that the town is not the only entity protected with that liability insurance.
No, yeah.
My name is on that too.
Yes.
And so I just want to make sure that the town is protected and I'm protected,
Yes.
working on either behalf of the town or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it sounded, when I talked to Donnell, it had been something this group had done in the
We
past.
didn't take out insurance, a liability policy, any year up except for our last one.
Okay.
And it was only like $600, I think, but yeah, we.
Okay.
Now, Pat, typically we put up some advertising a week or two before, signs along the road. Was there any?
Yeah, I'd like to know
requirement
more
of-
about that. Yeah,
Police
so,
department puts their, that, electronic one.
Yeah.
oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah, so that's John too again.
Talk to John White
Yeah.
about that. Sure.
Do we have the billboards? Are we doing the
I'm assuming we are, but that's a
Donnell.
Donnell
Yeah, it's
thing.
Donnell, okay. That's usually our advertising,
The billboards. Yeah.
and the electronic board from the police department.
Is it police or DPW or?
I think police manages that
Okay.
message board, yeah. At least they have in the past, I don't know, they may have.
I think it's the police department also.
All right, I can bring that up. Yeah, the billboards. I know I looked at the previous advertisement that was done, and I kind of started a prompt, but I don't know.
You have the artwork? The
Yeah,
previous
I have
artwork?
the artwork. I can just plug in information. in
Change the
terms-
dates, right? And maybe the bands.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know the bands yet, so I didn't get the date.
I'll know, I'm negotiating with 3 headliners right now.
Yeah.
I know who I want,
Mhm.
but there are some sticking points on the contract.
Okay.
But I have people that are ready to go, in their stead. They don't know it's in their stead, but.
Oh, you just told them. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
I
I
hope
mean,
they're not one of the 3 viewers.
so is it typically done like a few weeks before, a month before?
Usually it would be done before this.
before this. Yeah.
But it is
Sounds
what
like
it
it's
is
been.
this year.
Yeah.
A lot of these bands are, I'm not worried about the earlier bands.
Mhm.
But these headliners are either still rehearsing, because they've been off for so long, or ultra booked. And believe it or not, the casinos are just scooping these people up like crazy, because I'm really into tribute acts now, because they draw a lot of people.
Yeah.
And look at, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Draw the Line. They're a huge Aerosmith tribute band. And they wanted to do it, but they have to be in Ohio the next day at some casino. And they're like, if we had a $1 million pre-vote tour bus, we'd do it, but
Yeah.
we don't, so. So that's where we're at, but I do have a couple of pretty good ones lined up, and I'll know in the next day. I might even know now if I check my email.
Okay. Yeah, it'd be good to kind of just solidify
Yeah.
that and see
No,
Donnell.
we'll get it up there.
Donnell takes care of that usually, or
It
is it-
usually is the contact between
Okay.
Carol and Carol is who we go to in RSA. He handles
Okay.
that, so if you wanna, if you're good with it, doing that
Yeah.
type of artwork, I don't know what they used, whether it's Photoshop or Illustrator or whatever.
Yeah, I
If
use.
you're not good with that, I'm sure either Ariel or even I could do it.
Okay.
And they probably already have it anyway, you just have to change the date on the
Well, you gotta change the date and the graphics for the
bands.
bands, so.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't notice the band graphics on previous ones, but I must be looking at a different thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll look at it.
Okay.
Mine just said live bands.
Yeah, I've seen the one it's like the yellow star and
Yeah.
the, yeah, so I've seen those. And then I mean we could do something for like through the towns.
Actually, the star one is
News.
usually what goes up on the billboards, now that you're saying that. And I think
Okay.
it just says either, if we had sponsors, sponsored by,
Mm.
or, live bands. I don't know if we've ever put all the bands' names up there.
We don't put all of them up, but we
But
typically put the headliner up.
Headliners one up, okay.
You said we're still kind of waiting on the final sponsors as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
what
that
we're
yeah.
doing
So
big
that
time.
does okay.
But they get a lot of, I mean, obviously having them on the billboard would be awesome,
Yeah.
but they do get a lot of recognition at the event.
Okay.
as well. Oh, one thing I do wanna bring up, and I'm glad we did that. Do you have anything else on your list?
Nothing. Yeah. Nothing
Okay,
pressing. No.
We've always shied away from doing a lot of charity involvement in this event, because we wanted it to be just much more of a community, happy, feel-good thing. But we get a lot of money, we get a lot of people coming in, and we get a lot of generous people coming in. And I reached out to For You I Will Fight, and it's a group in Walpole that's dealing with ALS. And it's a Walpole family who, and we've had many, believe it or not, Walpole families over the last 2 or 3 years that are now dealing with this within their family. But this is a great charity. They do a lot of stuff. Yesterday at the Falmouth Road Race, what they raised, $30,000 just for their Walpole people participation in the Falmouth Road Race.
Wow.
I don't wanna make it a huge thing, I don't wanna attach any proceeds, but I would like to have them be able to be there and maybe do a 50-50 raffle, maybe sell some of their T-shirts, have some signage, let people be aware of the fact that this charity is out there, and it is a Walpole family that's not only behind the charity, started the charity, but it's a Walpole family that's impacted by ALS in this particular instance. But I'm not a king, so I don't wanna unilaterally make that call. I wanted to get a feeling from the commission here as to what you guys think. Cause what we don't want to have happen, what will happen if we do something like this all the time, is now every fundraising
Yep.
I was
entity
gonna say,
in
I-
the world is gonna wanna be there.
Yeah.
Football, lacrosse, everybody.
And-
And we've always turned them away, because
Right.
that's not this event.
Right. And what is it that's,
Yeah, once you open the door,
Well, we opened it last time, kind of spur of the moment. We did a 50-50 for a gentleman that was also suffering with ALS. And they were having a big event the next night up at the German Club, the next night after the 2019 Main Street Live. And I knew some of the people involved in that. And so literally last minute, we decided to announce a 50-50 raffle, and we had some of the people there.
what's a 50/50? I'm
Well,
sorry.
so you buy raffle tickets, right?
Yeah.
And let's say after the whole night of selling raffle tickets, there's a $3,000 pot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then they draw the number, and half of it will go to the person that wins, and half of it will go to the charity.
Ah, okay.
And very often, the person that wins will just say, give it all to the charity. I don't wanna put pressure on people, cause if someone wanted to unload $1,500 into my pocket right now, I'd probably take it. But typically, when it's a good local charity, people will do that. But I think we did spur of the moment last time. I think we
But-
made that charity $1,200.
That sounds right.
Yeah,
But
so,
this is also tied to the town, right? So,
not necessarily. This is a EDC event. I mean, and if this was not a specific Walpole person and a specific Walpole charity, aligned with a national problem with ALS, I wouldn't even bring it up. But
It's not the only family in town.
no,
that,
it's not.
Right. That's my own. I mean, I think it's a good idea, but I'm also like, why this charity? You know,
Right.
I see all these things on Facebook, like a dad in our school district just died of cancer, and so we're
Right.
raising money for the family. Like, you know, like there's so many good causes out there. I just don't. I don't want the charity to turn into a negative thing because people are like, why this one? You know.
No, I hear you, and that's why we've held off in the past and really have not allowed any fundraising per se.
Wonder if there's a way to encourage people to donate to their favorite charity, whatever that might be, but I don't know how you would do that.
Here's a list of the local Walpole ones.
Let me think about that. I don't disagree, and that is the reason why we've held off doing things like, we also don't allow like political
Right.
Yeah.
things like that, you know, if it was an election year.
I also think it would open floodgates, right? Like, oh, you did this last year, you know.
Yeah.
I would love to.
Who do you
Right.
choose?
No, you just, right, right.
And not to go back to Meg's point, I realize it's an EDC event, but we are an entity of the town, and so
Which is a little, yeah.
yeah.
Well,
Well, not
no.
to so much that I would want to kind of vet that
That's
a
why
little
we've
bit better because I
always
don't want to
kept
infringe
the-
on any sort of
That's why we've always
conflict of
kept
interest.
the event separate from the town.
Yeah.
We've gotten town support, but we've always kept it separate from the town on purpose.
Okay.
Because if I threw Ted Nugent out there, people might not be happy about it, but he'd still play. That's why we've kept it separate. And we've worked well with the town before, but I hear what everyone's saying. It's a tough one, because,
You didn't do a lot, we didn't do a lot 2 years ago, right?
say it again?
You didn't have them there 2 years ago.
We had a different thing that was spur of the moment
You did?
2 years ago, yeah. For,
What was
what was his name?
I can,
It was a,
like Joan,
yeah, it was a prominent Walpole family, and the father contracted ALS, young kids, and they were having a big fundraiser the next night, silent auction, the whole thing.
And where were they in the,
They weren't. They were just there, and I personally know a lot of the people that were involved in that. And I said, would you guys like to do a 50-50 while you're here? And they said, yeah, we'd love to do that. And so we let them.
so they didn't have a booth or something? like that?
No,
No.
no.
Yeah.
Well, how much did they raise last time?
50% was 1,200, and I think the person that won it gave their half to the charity as well.
Well, can't you just, at the end of it, just donate a certain amount to
Yeah,
them,
we could.
rather than having them?
But again, how do you choose the donation?
How do you choose which charity?
You can do whatever you want.
We can do whatever we want. It's our money.
What if it's a, you could do a 50-50 for a charity of your choice, and the proceed, then the person that pulls the ticket can say, oh, you know, I want it to go to this charity, you know, it can,
What if we did a 50-50 and just kept the money? Not to charity's great, but I mean, people like 50-50. You know, I
They
think
love
it,
it.
I
They
think
give
it would,
yeah,
I think
they have
people
an
would do it.
opportunity to
It's a reference. I see it as
Oh, everybody. The Red Sox do it, for God's sakes.
Right.
I mean,
You can just make a donation.
I'm starting to go along with what Harry just said here.
I agree,
Is do a 50-50, keep the money, and then we can donate to whoever the heck we want.
right.
yeah,
yeah,
And then we can have a meeting
I
and
like that idea.
we can have a meeting and decide who we want to donate to.
Right.
One person walks around,
another volunteer.
yeah. Someone that's very trustworthy.
Potentially the,
Or you put it at the table with
Well,
the
that's what
people
I was gonna
selling
say.
the tickets
That's-
or something.
that's where you'd wanna do it when the cash is out. but
Right.
It's really, we need to get people moving out of there as quickly as possible.
Oh, have we, on that note, we can shelve this, because I think I get a feeling, and I agree with the feelings behind the charity thing, how do you choose, so I get it. So I think we can put that to rest for now. We'll talk about doing a 50-50, a general 50-50, and then deciding later who we want to give it to. I think that's a great idea. In terms of payment, did we ever come to a conclusion on whether we want to be able to accept credit and debit?
I thought we did, but it was gonna be difficult because of Wi-Fi.
Well, that's a solvable problem, but I think that the people, has anyone here ever worked the ticket area?
Yeah, me and Ken,
Would that help?
no. We've never had a problem with I mean, people are usually only giving us 20s,
Yeah.
you know, cause what was it per drink, $4 for a beer?
What was Liz Dennehy's thing? It was $4 for a beer, so she said $4 for a ticket, 5 for 20.
Yeah,
Oh, give me 5. It's the same thing.
but we've never had any problems. I would only think that that would slow things down.
All right.
What about the food trucks? Do they accept?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
No, I like, believe me, cash is great, and as long as we can make sure that the ATMs are only spitting out $20 bills, I like that.
Cash these days. I have the same $5 in my wallet I've had for the last, I don't know, 15 months.
I'm with you. Except now, the government knows exactly where you're going all the time. They're gonna follow you to Pennsylvania.
Maybe they'll
I
take
have a charity that you can give it to.
So maybe table credit card for this year, but think about it for next year.
Yeah, unless cash is the way to go. I like cash. I
And
know.
I agree with the holding up the lines there, cause that's, people
Yeah.
wanna get in, they wanna have a drink, they wanna
that's
sit,
the-
they wanna eat.
We need to make that as quickly, get
Okay.
people through as quickly as possible. We've never had a problem with again, people are only buying $20 worth typically. You know, and then
The
they'll
only
come
thing
back
that,
and they'll buy
the only
more.
thing to me that's worrisome about cash is having thousands of dollars in some little
Ugh.
strong box.
And that's not with the
Donnell
police
comes
there.
around.
I was
Yeah,
gonna say,
Donnell
does someone
comes
come around
around
and
and
take it?
collects it.
Donnell
He
does.
does.
Yeah.
And his office is right across the street, so.
Yeah, famous last words.
Are you adding White Claw
What
to the
is,
menu?
stop,
I'm just saying.
I know, stop, stop.
Is White Claw on the beverage menu?
We haven't put that together yet, but yeah, there'll be some sort of,
Yeah, that was a big one.
Like
Some
a
sort
High
of-
Noon or a White Claw.
Yeah.
yeah, some sort of
Just
seltzer would be on.
The
on the
popular
list.
ones right now are the High Noon.
Mm-hmm.
The Honey, yeah.
They are by far the #1 seller in this area.
How do you know that, Pat?
They ran out of cans.
Because we're getting into the beer and wine business in my location in Norwood, and I'm doing a lot of research.
Really?
Yeah.
Trulies are going this way, unfortunately. White Claws are still growing, but High Noons are the fastest growing right now.
We're on a list at the liquor store for when high noons come in. They call us
Really?
because they ran out of cans a couple of weeks ago.
Very hard to find them.
Yeah.
You can get them. They're a hit,
Yeah.
Wow.
huge hit,
Friends of
and
mine
people will
drank
fly
so
them.
it's
They'll
been
fly.
like that.
Whatever we buy, they'll sell.
Mm-hmm.
All right, it's 5:53.
Oh,
We have
yeah.
a
So that
just
sounds good.
time check here. That's all.
I'm with you. I like.
Yeah, I have to go.
Time check.
We here till 6, is that?
We're here till we're done.
Yeah, so I was
like
saying
6.
6.
6. Yeah.
I did remember, I think I
That was
emailed you
sick.
and Donnell and you did get back to me. So the temporary food permit fees for food truck vendors, was that something that,
They've typically waived that in the past.
so go through
The Board of Health.
the Board of Health to waive it
Yeah.
as opposed to?
They have typically waived it. If they decide
I wasn't sure if
differently,
that
it
was
will be
just for-
news to me, yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure if that was just for Walpole businesses or for all vendors. Or
In the past, they've waived it for everybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
So let me know if they say anything differently.
Yeah.
But I haven't heard anything differently, so. And I asked Danell today and he hadn't either, so.
Okay, all right, I'll go check with them again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, just let me know if there's an issue.
Yep.
Is there any other issues that you've run into with the town at all? Questions or objections?
That's basically it. I mean, just the logistics in terms of closing. I just want to make sure I'm aware of that with DPW and police. It sounds like everything is kind of squared away with doing the wristbands and the ticket system.
Yeah.
And other than that, I mean, anything I can do for the advertisement. I mean, I've got that stuff kind of queued up, but I don't know if we need additional information in terms of bands and sponsors or whatnot. But if we want to just
We
kind
should
of-
probably get it out even if we don't
Anything,
know yet.
yeah.
Because we can always change it.
okay.
You know, it's easy to just
Or
make sure
do
the dates
even
are
just more
correct.
general, just saying Main Street Live.
Yeah, Main Street
September
Live, food
17th.
trucks,
Yeah,
concert, you know,
gotcha.
and then the time and the date, obviously. And then if we want to add a band logo afterwards, we can.
Okay.
I think that's everything. I think power is all set on the town, on the green where we need it. I think they moved it permanently. It used to be temporary, but I think after 2019, they moved it permanently, so that's good. But I'll check.
We've got all that new power, by the way, on the park, just in case. For downtown destination, we got them to do it all for the trees that we lit.
Oh, good. Good.
There's all more power for.
Nice.
Yeah, we need the two lugs that they ran
Well, yeah.
they ran, I think, three-phase out to a big boom breaker at that tree with just two lugs on it that you put your cam locks into to run the
Stage.
100 amp distribution, power distro unit for the stage. But they used to just run it across above in the trees and then down the tree and onto a temporary box for, I mean, it was great that they did that. We wouldn't be able to do it without it. You can't just plug this stuff into
No.
to an outlet. But I think they did that permanently now, so. It's hard to believe we've come
I know.
as
I
far
just
as we've
figured,
come
like,
in
oh my
this,
God.
in this amount of time. The first year we did it, man, we were bootstrapping this thing. But the town, I gotta be honest with you, without the town's involvement, it never would have happened the way it is. And they've provided a lot of infrastructure to let this happen. And to be honest with you, it's become, I don't know, I think it's as requested as Night Before the 4th. I think people ask about this event maybe even more.
Probably more.
Yeah. So that's good. All right, anyway, if there's nothing else, someone,
Did you see all the Facebook stuff about the fireworks?
No,
Oh, God, it was brutal. Like when's the fireworks? When's the fireworks? Are we having the fireworks? Do we have the fireworks? Are we having the fireworks? It's brutal.
Are
All
we
these people that never know anything.
going to do fireworks?
don't know.
Oh, you mentioned.
We talked about it.
We talked about it, but we haven't come to a conclusion yet. We haven't been able to come to a conclusion on that one yet. It would be nice.
it would be nice, but where we,
Yeah, just blow them off in the
Yeah.
same place. Just don't tell anybody, because we don't want to have 5,000 people down there too.
Other than that, I think our next more of a subcommittee meeting with department heads is on September 8th.
right.
I think that's what we discussed. Yeah, Zoom meeting, just to do another.
That's
kinda
a
follow
Zoom
through.
meeting?
Yeah.
You need all of us there or just?
Nope.
No.
Just whoever was involved last time
should-
who can be available.
We should probably have either, this is gonna happen before,
I was gonna say, I would feel better if I knew more what was going on. Like
we should have a meeting the first week of September. A
For the-
full
for the whole
EDC
group?
meeting.
Okay.
yeah, If we can get a room, because that'll only give us 10 days before the event.
Well, then we can have a list down of
We'll have everything at that point,
volunteers
yeah.
and time slots and all that
Right.
stuff.
So do you
Yeah.
wanna do that Wednesday the 8th? Wednesday the 8th is 10 days before the event? You have a meeting, looks like to me,
We have a meeting on Wednesday, the 8th,
When's-
at 1 o'clock, I think.
Yeah, with on Zoom with
On
wanna do
department
5
heads.
o'clock here?
Or we
Uh,
could do the regular Tuesday.
We could do the regular
We could do it
Tuesday, but just
Tuesday,
move
but
it to
that's
the
Labor Day
7th.
that Monday, so I don't know if people are traveling.
Oh, it is?
Oh yeah. Can meet the 14th. I mean, obviously that's a little bit pushing
That's
it.
3 days before, I don't care
Yeah.
either, but your choice. I can do the 14th, that's that same Tuesday.
Is the Wednesday tough for you? Or tough for a room?
I have ZBA on the 15th. I don't think I have anything on the 8th though.
Is there a better time for you, earlier, or?
Can we do the 7th?
No,
Why
I-
can we do the 7th?
We can
I'm
do the
down
7th.
with, I'm okay
yeah,
with 7th.
I can do that day.
I just,
yeah.
I'm
7th is
okay.
the day after Labor Day, you
Yeah,
said?
it's not gonna affect me, I'm just wondering
No, I mean,
everyone
people
else.
people would be back, I would assume.
Yeah, because
right?
people are going to
We're
school.
going to school.
Yeah.
People are in school then, so
Yeah.
people will be back.
Alright, that sounds good, so what time do you wanna do it?
I think we should just do it,
Just
if
do
we
it
can get the room, do
Same
5
time?
o'clock.
Yeah, we should be able to get the room. No problem.
Yeah, famous last words.
Yeah.
All right, so
Get
if we,
around, get around.
we'll get a room.
There's a
Regardless,
bunch.
there's a
Yeah,
bunch of
we'll
rooms.
find
So-
something.
You can sit out at the picnic table.
Tuesday the 7th, we'll have a full EDC meeting, but the only thing on the agenda, unless something comes up,
Yep.
will be final prep for Main Street
Are
Live.
we still coming back the 21st for the meeting, September 21, 2 weeks later?
You want to decide that
Yeah, we can figure that out.
at that
We
meeting?
could figure it out at that meeting. I mean, it's a little ways away, so I guess we could figure it out at that meeting.
So, let's say I'm gonna go out and recruit as many volunteers as I can. What am I asking for? Setup, breakdown, everything, bartending, what are?
We need everything, but I believe our biggest need is bartending and being part of the alcohol process,
So-
whether it's checking IDs and selling tickets
Yeah.
or
Okay.
actually
checking.
tending
ID
bars.
checking,
Okay.
that's what seems like it, okay.
Yeah. So
And
you
we'll-
feel good about bartenders? We just need ID checkers?
I feel, yeah, I'm fine. But if I'm not, I'll let you know in a couple weeks.
And if I could always recruit someone else as well to,
If you wanna recruit somebody, that's fine,
I'll
bring
try.
them on over,
yeah.
you know what I mean? That's
The more the
merrier.
But if you don't need it, don't worry
Well,
about
the
it.
more the merrier, worst case scenario, they work for a couple hours, they get something to eat and they
Yeah.
hang out, you know,
All right.
or go home or whatever, so.
And we should talk about T-shirts for the volunteers and allowing them to keep the T-shirts.
I think it's a great idea.
got
'cause
enough
then
money.
It distinguishes,
And we should put a date on it so people know that, you know, that, I'll talk to
I like
Dave.
it.
about that.
So, just so you know, dates make you have to change your shirts every year, versus you don't date it, then you gotta buy them every year.
Yeah, no, but I want people to keep the shirt.
Alright.
I'd rather buy them and let people say, you remember 2021, that was awesome. You know, I was there,
like to do it
2021.
Remember we were
I
there
like
on the
the
rain, all the
flag.
bands canceled?
Yeah, Yeah, well, it
When we
happens.
came back.
That's part of the business, but, all right, good. Anybody wanna, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn at
Second.
6 o'clock.
Second, third,
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained?
6:01, damn it.
6.